Vikings, the legendary seafaring warriors of Scandinavia during the Viking Age, roughly from 793 to 1066 CE, were renowned for their fierce raids, exploration and trading voyages across vast stretches of Europe, the Middle East, and even North America. But amidst their adventurous spirit and relentless pursuit of new horizons, the Vikings also held a deep appreciation for one of life's most fundamental necessities, sleep. And surprisingly, their sleep habits were so advanced that it might make ours seem pretty primitive by comparison. Now, it wasn't exactly a time when sleep-tracking wearables and sleep apps were available, but by understanding their sleep-related practices, traditions, and the unique circumstances of their lives, we can piece together how they managed to get some of the best possible sleep in human history. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about what made Viking sleep so advanced. It's no secret that in today's world, a lot of us struggle with falling asleep quickly, staying asleep for long stretches of time, or simply feeling rested after a night of shut-eye. And there are countless theories as to why modern sleep seems so elusive for so many of us. It could be our reliance on artificial lights that keep us up late into the night. It could be the stress of modern life that keeps our minds racing when we should be resting, or it could be something else entirely. What if the answer lies in the past? What if the key to great sleep is hidden in the history of the Viking people? In fact, recent studies suggest that their sleep habits might hold the secrets to solving our own sleep issues. You see, the Vikings were quite literally masters of getting their ZZZs, and their methods were so effective that they might just be the perfect solution for our modern problems. So first off, let's take a look at Viking sleeping arrangements. Now, unlike our modern-day culture of individual bedrooms, most Vikings slept communally, typically sharing a large hall or longhouse with their family members and possibly other members of their community. Now these long halls were usually dimly lit, with the main source of illumination coming from a central hearth or fireplace. This type of arrangement might seem a little bit strange to us now, but it actually had some major advantages when it came to getting a good night's sleep. Firstly, sleeping in a shared space created a sense of community and togetherness. Being close to each other would have helped foster a sense of security, which is crucial for a peaceful slumber. After all, our ancestors used to sleep in groups for protection against predators. This is still true for a lot of animals today, and it makes sense that this instinct would carry over to us as well. In a communal sleeping environment, there was also less pressure to maintain a perfectly silent and still sleeping space. This is because the people sleeping in the same area understood that noises and movements are natural occurrences during sleep and wouldn't be disturbed by them. In contrast, our modern culture of quiet sleeping arrangements can sometimes lead to feelings of guilt or anxiety if we accidentally make noise while sleeping. This is definitely something that would disturb the sleep of the average Viking, so you can see how their communal sleeping habits likely led to a more peaceful and restful sleep. Let's move on and talk about Viking bedding. They didn't have fancy mattresses or memory foam pillows, but their bedding was actually pretty advanced for its time. Vikings used a layered approach to bedding, typically starting with a base layer of straw or hay, which provided insulation and helped regulate body temperature. Above that, they would place a layer of wool, either in the form of a blanket or a sheepskin rug. And finally, they might add a top layer of fur, depending on the time of year and the climate. This might sound a bit uncomfortable to us today, but the Vikings were used to this type of bedding, and it worked really well for them. The layers allowed for air circulation, which kept them cool in the summer and warm in the winter. The materials were also natural and chemical-free, which is something that a lot of people are trying to get back to today. But it wasn't just their sleeping arrangements and bedding that made Viking sleep so advanced. Their diets also played a big role. The Vikings ate a lot of protein-rich foods like meat and fish, as well as healthy fats like those found in seafood and nuts. They also consumed plenty of complex carbohydrates like oats and barley, which are digested more slowly than simple sugars and help promote a feeling of fullness. Eating a balanced diet like this helps regulate blood sugar levels, which is essential for a good night's sleep. In fact, modern research has shown that eating too many carbs or too much sugar can disrupt our sleep patterns and reduce the amount of time we spend in deep sleep. Vikings also avoided caffeine and alcohol before bed, which can interfere with sleep and reduce sleep quality. They knew that getting a good night's sleep was essential for their overall health and well-being, and they took steps to ensure that they got the rest they needed, and it wasn't just about quantity either. Vikings also prioritized quality sleep. They understood the importance of sleeping in a dark, quiet space and avoiding distractions like caffeine and alcohol before bed. They also made sure to get plenty of exercise during the day, which is another key component of a good night's sleep. In addition to their diet and lifestyle habits, Vikings also had some pretty advanced ideas about sleep itself. They believed that dreams were a way for the soul to travel and explore different realms, and they saw sleep as a time for the soul to rest and recharge. This spiritual aspect of sleep is something that we're just starting to understand the importance of today. Science is showing us that our beliefs and attitudes towards sleep can actually affect our ability to sleep well. If we're anxious or stressed about sleep, we're less likely to sleep well. but if we approach sleep with a sense of curiosity and wonder, we're more likely to get a good night's rest. Another thing that set Viking sleep apart was the use of herbs and natural remedies. While they didn't have access to modern pharmaceuticals, Vikings were pretty savvy when it came to using natural substances to promote sleep and relaxation. Herbs like valerian root, chamomile, and hops were commonly used to help induce sleep and reduce anxiety. These herbs were often brewed into teas or tinctures and consumed before bedtime. Today, we know that these herbs have calming effects, but it is important to note that Vikings used them in moderation and as part of an overall healthy lifestyle. They weren't trying to get high or escape reality. They were simply trying to get a good night's sleep so they could function at their best during the day. And lastly, let's talk about physical activity. You see, the Vikings were a pretty active bunch. They were constantly on the move, whether they were sailing, exploring, raiding, or trading. All of this activity helped promote good sleep. We now know that exercise has a ton of benefits for sleep quality. It increases the amount of time we spend in deep sleep, improves our ability to stay asleep, and reduces insomnia. Vikings also exercised regularly during the day, but they avoided strenuous activity close to bedtime. This is something that we should all take note of today. Many of us are still active well into the evening, scrolling on our phones or watching TV, but this type of stimulation can keep us up and make it harder to fall asleep. Vikings understood that it was important to wind down before bed and give ourselves time to relax. So what can we learn from the Vikings? Well, first off, we can learn that sleep is an essential part of a healthy lifestyle. It's not something to be sacrificed or viewed as a chore. The Vikings understood this and they made sleep a priority. Secondly, we can learn that sleep doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't require fancy gadgets or expensive treatments. It just needs to be approached with respect and intentionality. This means creating a comfortable sleep environment, practicing good sleep hygiene, and getting regular exercise. Finally, we can learn that sleep is a source of wonder and curiosity rather than anxiety and stress. When we approach sleep with a positive attitude, we are more likely to sleep well. And who knows, maybe we'll even have some amazing dreams along the way. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about ancient history and culture, please subscribe and join our community of learners. Thank you for tuning in, and happy dreaming.